1 year later, we had a son named Ryan. A few years later, we started to learn. Now from there, got to
Yay.
Do you have any questions for me? But in this story, we don't talk about them. I went to Peace in Plymouth because of teamwork, faith, and hard work we were able to build a shrine. That the pilgrims needed protection. That's where I can put a thing in my school. Thank you. William Farquhar is a Scottish physician. After I married, this is when I had my first child. Sadly, we both died early. I heard counts from the jungle somewhere. After that, I lived out the rest of my life in Haverhill until I died March 6th. And there's another monument of me in Concord, New Hampshire. Thank you for listening.
But with my permission and the permission of the neighboring tribes and the surrounding tribes of any I knew that the settlers good conditions for society. I served my people. At the age of 89, I died on June 30th, 1785. May God be with you.
Instead, I was apprenticed to a printing shop where I discovered my love for writing and printing. The Pennsylvania Gazette and Forager's Almanac sharing news and wise sayings with the public. Made me able to secure news.
Favorite principal. We settled in Westerly, Rhode Island briefly, where I half-heartedly joined the Baptist Church. He later died in a hospital near London in 1741.
By encouraging its settlers to work together and adhere to others. We involved in banishing religious figures that didn't agree with the colonies.
And on June 1st, 1660, I was hanged at the gallows as one of the first Quaker martyrs. Their death for my religion later became the Quaker himself.
We had 2 children. Their names were Henry and Catherine. My husband passed away and was knighted by King James I in 1606.
Sometimes late at night, I'd write to my father letters about how the plantations were going. Not many of my neighbors approved. I was able to grow enough indigo for dye production. By this time, I was 22 years old.
America. Me and my colony live on Roanoke Island, which is now modern-day North Carolina. My birth was a sign of hope, and I brought joy to my colony. Hello, my name is Margaret Brent. I was born into a noble family in Gloucestershire, England, 1601. Thanks to our social status, we were welcome. While I was in Maryland,
Yeah.
And mom give the name Silwa means forest.
Yep.
So it's
part of my speech. Yeah, that's part of the speech.
I worked as a clerk for a lawyer. That lawyer's name was Sir Edward Blue. After that, I went to Cambridge University. So in 1630, I boarded a ship named the Leon and arrived in the colonies.
I made a pact with the Englishmen so that only they could purchase the fur our tribe provided. After spending some time with the Pilgrims, we became friends. I recognized the need for the Indians and the Europeans to live peacefully.
Out in New England and being captured by pirates, but I never returned to Jamestown. In 1609, I was injured in a gunpowder explosion and had to return back to England.
On the burning of our house reflected on this great love. All my children, except my second born, is still alive. As the first published poet in America,
My success in uniting 2 worlds together and keeping peace. So I found ways to bring peace and to unite them. Then in August 1643, my family and I, except Susanna and me, were killed by Indians. My husband was born in 1612, and then in 1642,
my people loved our land. I fought so my children could see this. For my bravery, my people crowned me as a beloved. I stood on the battlefield after my husband fell. It was sad. I picked up.
Do you ever stop and think what was life like 360 years ago?
Well, I can answer that question.
I was born April 19, 1666 in Charlestown, Massachusetts. Thomas Keppel knows.
I went into ice. I had to turn back around 500 miles from the North Pole. On my second journey, I reinforced the ship so they could handle the ice on my back.
My name is Sorrel Charlie. I was born in Devon, February 1554. Anatomy in 1585. Captain of the Guard in 1587. Queen Elizabeth died in 1603. Cruel. I preached it because I believed it. That only by realizing I started the Great Awakening and told people strong words there, and I continued teaching. I was born between 1714 and 1720 in northern Ohio. In my early adult years, the French and Indian War was at its peak. I worked as governor of Massachusetts and provided instruction on humanitarian acts. I died February 13th.
Have you ever had chickenpox? Today, chickenpox is a mild illness where people have the option to be vaccinated for it. And I help begin inoculations that will eventually get rid of smallpox entirely.